welcome back to Linda's Pantry, and today I have a dual action video. I have a post-canning chat and also the second installment of my how-to with your all-American canner. You gotta know what you do before and after canning, correct? I gave you what I know about the canner. I kind of gave you the ins and outs. I'll try to link the video down below, and I will definitely have a playlist for you that you can go to, and I'll label that playlist is going to be All American 101. So look for that. I'm going to add a few more videos to that as time goes by. But today, oh my gosh, I canned chicken. Now, this is not so ugly chicken. I canned chicken breast, and look at how beautiful. This has been sitting, well, it was the night before last that I did this. So it has had a chance, the pressures come off. I took the rings off, and perfect headspace. Look at that. I mean, all of them, all of these have that perfect headspace, and look how pretty it is in the jar. Pretty little specks of pepper and seasoning. Anyway, okay, and then this one, I didn't have quite enough to fill the jar, and I wanted to make sure I got as many jars in the canner as possible, because my little 10.1 All-American canner will hold 7 regular mouth jars. So I had some barbecued grilled chicken breast that I had in the refrigerator already cut up, so I put that in to fill this jar. That's why the color's a little bit different. It's gonna have a little smokier charred flavor. And then the last jar, instead of just filling it with water, I had some of the broth left from, and even the broth has that perfect 1-inch headspace. This beautiful broth, I can use this in a quick soup for work, some Thrive vegetables, some of this chicken, or no meat at all, just a vegetable soup from all the Thrive veggies and this chicken broth. Yum. So I take the rings off, I wash them, and now I wash my jars. Even though there was no siphoning in the canner, these jars did not siphon. They don't feel cruddy or greasy or anything. They just feel beautiful. So I get them all washed up. Now I did put diced onions in the broth for flavor. Some of them got into the jars, which is fine. But I don't have that white snow everybody talks about. I just cook my chicken, and I think the snow factor, it also depends on the quality of chicken that you're buying. That's impurities that are coming out in the chicken, and if you see it in your pan when you're cooking it, and I'm setting these over on the drying mat. But I don't even feel like I need to wash these jars. That's how clean they feel. Of course, my water had vinegar, a little bit of vinegar in there to keep the jars clean, and the rings and lids, you know. Not too much, because if you put too much in that canner, you're gonna have tarnishing of your and degrading of your lids and rings. So here we go. More is not, or less is more in that case. Okay, last jar, get all washed up, soapy hot water. These will be ready to label tomorrow and get these out on the shelf. Okay, and I've got some great recipes for you guys coming up using the home canned chicken. So now going to my canner. I've already washed my canner, and this is typically how I do this, especially up here in the Northwest. We have, humidity, and I store my canner out in the garage. So if there's humidity out there, I want to make sure I just combat everything. So I've washed and dried my canner. I wash it with hot soapy water after every canning session and dry it out, you know, with a towel. And then I leave it sit in here, and I don't even put the rack back in it. I leave it sit with nothing in it, and then usually overnight, then the next day I will put a paper towel down in the bottom of my canner and my canning rack, make sure it's nice and dry. And I put my weight inside. And then, now that I'm ready to take it to the garage, I am going to put this with my dial gauge down so it doesn't get damaged or knocked around. Nothing can happen to it while it's in that position. And there's no condensation on the inside of this canner that could build up possible mold or mildewy. Yeah, I don't want that. So that's how I store my canner. Now, can you store it like this? Yes, you can. I just feel like your gauge is important. Even though you're using a weight, you also want to protect this gauge. Can you buy a replacement gauge? Yes, on Amazon. I'll try to link some links for replacement gauges, and you can actually replace the petcock too. So I don't see a need to do that. I mean, I look through that thing every single time and poke a toothpick through it if it looks like it's getting any clogging. But this is how I store this canner and my big All-American canner. My next video, I will probably bring out the bigger canner and actually show you a couple of things that might be interesting for you, and some things I've got planned in the future. I don't use that as often because it's just me, so but I do have a canning project coming up, and I'm going to need that because I want to do 7 quarts of bone broth / stock. So make sure all of your wing nuts are clean, that the rim of that canner is clean, free of anything. Nothing's going to get under there while you're canning, but just really make sure that you've inspected it. It's as clean and sanitary as it can be when it goes back out to wherever you're going to store it, whether it's in the house, up high, down low, in a pantry, in some kind of cabinet. That's how I store it. And this little canner is a workhorse. When you think about it, it's lightweight compared to the big one. It's lighter than a Presto, and I can do 7 pints of chicken or 7 pints of anything at one time. Soup. What a great way to stock your shelf with soups for the winter. Or I eat soup year round. I had soup today. So how nice. And you don't need 18 jars of it, because that would take me too long to get through it, and I don't really have the room that I used to have to rotate through either. So guys, I hope this helps. If you have any questions down below, please leave them. I'm going to try to address, I'm going to do another question and answer thing for the All-American canner. Any canning questions you might have, leave them down below, and I'll do a question and answer video around this video's questions. All right, guys, I hope you give me a thumbs up. I hope if you're not a subscriber, you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you get notified whenever I upload. And if you see that you want to have a little bit more of an intimate conversation twice a month, you can hit that join button as well and get in on some extra fun. All right, guys. Channel doesn't change because I have the join button. It just is adding to it. The channel and the content is all going to stay the same for anybody that wants to just be on here for free. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.